I'm Helen, welcome to my channel. Today's class is a class for the heart chakra, the Anahata Chakra. To involve a little bit of front body opening, aka back bending. Props you will need today, maybe some blocks, and if you don't have a bolster, a blanket that you can roll up like this into a burrito. So we need this at the end for Shavasana, so it might be worth grabbing a blanket now, rolling it up, getting in your burrito, ready for later. If you're interested in the chakras, please check below this video for a link to a 21-page guide on how to identify which ones of your chakras are balanced, excessive or deficient. There's some practices in the guide as well that you can do, very simple practices to help harmonize them. I'm also going to be releasing a chakra course very soon, a deep dive into the chakras, which will be yoga classes, meditation, breath work, and some journaling as well. So if you're interested in that, please have a look again underneath this video, click the link and just sign up so you can be the first to hear about it when it goes live. So we'll start today in diamond pose, that's sitting on the heels. If this is a bit much for your knees, remember you can always sit on a block in between. That just makes it a little bit more accessible. If you're happy there, we'll just start working the shoulders and the chest and just doing a little bit of opening and getting some prana, some energy all to this region. So start with your fingertips on your shoulders. And on an inhale, just bring the elbows forward, around and back. Inhale forward, around, exhale as you go back. 3 more of these. So just bringing your awareness to the shoulder joint and to the chest. Nice opening. And when you've done the last one, we'll do 5 in the other direction. So inhale forward, exhale down and around, inhale forward, down and around. This is number 3. 1 more of these. And then release. Bring the right hand down next to the right hip. Inhale this left arm up, and we're going to reach over to the right. So keep that left sitting bone grounded on the heel or on the block, wherever it is. And just breathe into this side stretch, opening this side body. You know, the heart chakra is all about the respiratory system and the lungs. So really creating some space here. And then coming up. Other side comes up and then lean over to the other side. Using the breath. And inhale back up. Then inhale both arms up to the sky and we'll just come over to the right for a seated twist. So the twist comes from this part of the spine. Remember the lower spine, the lower back never twists. And inhale up. And exhale over to the other side. Deep breaths. And inhale up. Move into onto hands and knees for cat-cow. So hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips, core is engaged. And on an inhale, the belly dips and the head lifts, chest through the gates of the arms. Exhale, reverse the movement, tucking the pelvis, allowing the head to come down, really protecting the shoulder blades. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. 2 more of these in time with your breath. So it's always good at the start of every yoga class to do all these movements of the spine to warm up. because you really reap the benefits later as you move through the other postures. And then back to center. So we come into Anahata heart opening pose or heart melting pose. So knees stay underneath the hips and walk the hands forward. So depending on the openness of your chest and shoulders, you may bring the forehead to the floor, and this is your position. You may bring the chest down, and you may bring the chin down. So do whatever feels good for you. And breathe here. So I'm just going to stay with my forehead on the floor because it's quite difficult to speak in that other position. So the heart chakra is green, and it's sometimes just depicted with a pink center. So green and pink. This chakra is all about our interconnectedness with other beings on the earth and universal love. The element is the air element. And as I said earlier, it's linked to our respiratory system, our lungs, and obviously our heart. And come back up to hands and knees. So just stay here for a moment in a neutral spine, just allowing the back to settle. We'll come into a version of gate pose. So come up onto the knees and come to the long edge of the mat. Put all the weight in the left knee, and then the right leg comes out to the side. Just move up a little bit. So inhale the arms up. Bring this right hand outside the right leg and lean over. So this is traditional gate pose. We'll move into a version of it that involves a bit of a back bend. So you can stay here, or you can come with me, come up and bring the arms to a T. And then this left hand reaches back onto the left heel. Sweep this right arm down, up and around. And maybe you come into this back bend. So extend this right arm straight out behind, chest to the sky. Breathe deeply. Feel the opening in the front body. Then sweep down, up and around to come back. Palms to chest. Knees return to center. Second side. So this left leg comes out. Start with traditional gate. So arms up to the sky. Left arm, left leg, reaching over to the left. Breathing here. And inhale, come up. You can do that one again, or right hand reaches back to the right heel. Sweep this top arm down, up and around. Extend that arm behind. I'm a bit limited because I've got a wall here. Chest to the sky, and breathe. This is great to feel this opening in the front body. Really exposing the heart to the sky. You can feel quite vulnerable when you expose yourself like this. This is all about opening this area. And sweep the arm down, up and around. We come back up. Back to hands and knees, and just sit here for a moment. Maybe close the eyes. I can feel a lot of prana energy all around this chest area. It was really exhilarating to do these back bends. And then come back up. So we'll come into downward facing dog and move into wild thing pose. Hands planted on the earth, around shoulder width apart. whatever feels good for you. Tuck the toes and lift the seat to the sky. So we just pedal out the legs here for a little bit. Bringing the ears between the biceps, sit bones to the sky, core is engaged, triceps rotated towards the ears. And then just start to settle the heels. Then on an inhale, the left leg lifts to the sky. Bend this top knee. So the knee is vertically upwards towards the sky. So the hips are open, equal weight in both hands. Then, listen carefully, you're going to bend this right leg and bring the left foot down outside the right side of the mat. And then rotate so the foot is flat, the right foot is flat, you're on the ball of the left foot, and open up into this back bend known as wild thing. Can't actually remember the Sanskrit word for this. But really opening the heart to the sky. And then come back round. You can bring the seat down. Leg goes back up to the sky. And release down. So we do that on the other side. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Stack the hips, right knee to the sky. Then twist the body so this right foot comes outside the right side of the mat. Left foot is flat to the mat on the ball of the right foot. Wild thing this side. So breathe here. Then come back down, come out the way you went in, back to downward facing dog, and just bring the knees down and come into a brief child's pose. Breathe. So again, feeling all that openness in the chest, all that energy. You might be breathing quite heavily. Back bends involve a lot of energy. They make you feel so good afterwards though. And the key to balancing this chakra is all about opening the heart. So come back up to hands and knees and just allow the belly to come to the floor and release down. We'll work through a couple of back bends from the floor. So we'll start in Sphinx pose. So elbows are just in front of the shoulders. Bring the shoulders back and open in the chest. Internally rotate the forearms so the hands are flat to the floor. Lift the chest. Ground that pubic bone. Lift the head. Breathe here. So this is actually a supported cobra. This is one of my favorite back bends to actually do. Feels so good. And then from here, we'll release down and we'll move on into locust pose, Shalabhasana. So forehead comes to the floor, ground the pubic bone, engage the core, and on an inhale, lift everything up, palms to the sky, legs engaged, back body engaged. Breathe here. Gazing point is just in front of the mat, so don't jerk the head up. You want to keep the neck nice and long. And then release down. Bring the right cheek to the floor and just relax and release everything. We'll do locust again. You can do that version, or you can do one with the arms or the hands interlinked behind the glutes. So when I do this version, I do get a bit higher. But feel free to do the first version. So bring the head back to neutral. Ground that pubic bone, engage the core. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Then on an inhale, lift everything up. This is a great chest expansion. Deep breaths. It's quite hard to talk in this position because it's as if the front body is in a giant inhale. And then release down, this time left cheek to the floor and melt. So you can do a version of locust again. You can also do sphinx pose again. Otherwise, we will do bow pose, Dhanurasana. So this involves a little bit more strength and energy, a little bit more opening in the back. If you've never done it before, you can give it a try. I'll guide you through it. So bring the forehead back to neutral. This time bend the legs, reach back and grab the outside of the feet or the ankles, whatever feels accessible for you. If you've got hold of the ankles, flex the feet, ground the pubic bone, bring the shoulder blades together on the back, engage the core, and on an inhale, lift up. So use the strength of the legs to help lift the front body. 5 breaths. And then when you've done your 5 breaths, just release down very gently and just bring the hands together underneath the forehead, stacking them. Release the forehead and you can come into crocodile. Just allow the insides of the feet to be face down. So your heels are together, your toes are going outwards, and just breathe here. So the key to opening the heart chakra is actually to soften. When we soften towards people or things that annoy us, it allows us to actually expand and be more open. Rather than getting angry and wound up, if we just soften, it makes such a difference to how we feel. And then from here, we'll come back up to hands and knees and move over onto the back. We'll do one more back bend. And I'll give you 2 options depending on where you are in your yoga practice. So if I were to say to you, Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow, or wheel pose, you know what I'm talking about, that's the pose we will do next. If this isn't in your practice, you can do a simple bridge pose, which is bringing the feet flat to the floor, touching the backs of the heels of the fingertips, grounding into the shoulders and lifting the pelvis to the sky. So we'll all start in bridge pose. So with that stable foundation, ground the heels, inhale the pelvis up to the sky. This might be your position. If you want to move into Urdhva Dhanurasana, the arms come up, folding the elbows, and placing the hands so the fingertips face the shoulder blades. Grounding into the feet, and then on an inhale, lift up and come onto the head. And from here, inhale and lift all the way to the sky. So trying to get the arms straight Chest is facing the wall. Breathe here. Really lengthening the lower back. Deep breaths. Equal weight in the feet and the hands as best you can. And then when you're ready, you lift the head, bend the elbows, come down very gently, rolling through the spine. The seat comes down last, and resist the urge to bring the knees in for a moment. Just windscreen wiping them side to side. It's always best to allow the discs in the spine to go back to their normal shape before we go into the counter pose. So they've been compressed in a back bend. They're like marshmallows. Just staying for a moment in a neutral spine allows them to return to their regular shape of their own accord. And then once the back has settled, we can bring the knees in for a little counter pose, which always feels so good. So Urdhva Dhanurasana does involve a lot of strength, openness in the shoulders and the chest. One of those poses, you keep plugging away at it, and you may get deeper into it. It also depends on the bones in your spine. The spiny protrusions on the back side of the body, if they're quite long, as you're in the back bend and they touch each other, that will be your maximum position. Whereas some people are very flexible in the back, they might have smaller protrusions. So never compare yourself to anyone else. The only version of the pose you need to be in is the one that you do in the present. And then as we've done those back bends, we'll just do a quick reclined twist, just reset the spine. So bring the knees to tabletop, allow them to fall over to the right. Gently, head turns to the left if it feels good. Both shoulders on the floor, and breathe here. So this twist feels really good after all those back bends. All of that heart opening. Bringing all that prana around the heart chakra. And inhale back to center. And then allow them to fall over to the left. Maybe the head turns to the right. You often find that if you feel sort of closed down emotionally, which is a sort of deficient heart chakra, your shoulders are rounded forward and you're hunching over, you're curling inwards. And when we start to open backwards and expand and expose our heart, although it can feel quite vulnerable, that's really a good way to start the work in opening the heart chakra. At times I've done this myself. I've been all sort of hunched forward, and it's a closed-bodied position. It's defensive, really, keeping everybody out. But the key to opening it is to actually expand. Come back to center. And then we'll move into Shavasana. So, like I said at class, we'll do a supported one. So there's two versions. If you've got the burrito, you can put it underneath the shoulder blades, like where your bra strap would be, and just allow the feet to flop open. Lie with the chest lifted. If you have a bolster, you can also do this with a blanket, but I find it's better with the bolster. You can do supported fish pose. So the bolster comes right at the tailbone, and then you can just relax back. Oh, it feels so good. Allow the feet to flop open. Allow the chest to lift to the sky. Tuck the shoulder blades under the back. palms facing upwards. And just release here, feeling this wonderful openness in the chest. Here we feel really reassured when we have support in our upper back. If you think about when you're feeling sort of a bit low or sad, someone places a hand in between your shoulder blades, a reassuring hand. It feels just really warm and helpful. This is all about our heart chakra, feeling the support. So if you're on your burrito or you're on a bolster, you can even just lay on the floor. Allow the body to melt down with your heart open to the sky. The black antelope is the power animal of this chakra, and it is as elusive as the speed of the wind. She is as hard to catch as many of our less conscious thoughts and ideas that shape our reality. Alert and sensitive to each and every sound, she embodies total perceptual awareness. Start to bring awareness into the fingers and toes, wiggling them gently. Interlace the fingers and then stretch them overhead with the feet in the opposite direction. And then bring the knees in one by one into the chest and give yourself a squeeze. When you're ready, just roll over onto your favorite side. Come into a little ball, the fetal position. And keeping the eyes closed, gently push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. You can bring the hands together in the lap or on the knees. If you want to feel grounded, face the palms downwards. If you want to feel uplifted, face them upwards. Spine nice and straight. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Bring the palms to the chest, thumbs touching the sternum. Imagine at your heart center you've got this wonderful ball of glowing green light, maybe with a pink center. Really connect with this heart chakra and the feelings of love and openness, compassion, empathy, understanding. Bring the thumbs to the third eye, the thumbs back to the lips, and then return the palms to the heart. Lokar Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. Thank you for joining me today in this class for the heart chakra. Hope you feel a little more expansive in this area. Your heart is glowing. I look forward to practicing with you again soon. Thank you. If you enjoyed this class, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you're interested in learning more about the chakras, remember to check out the links below. Thank you. Really appreciate you practicing with me. Take care.